Welcome to the Blueprint Podcast, where we throw out the old blueprint so you can become who you were always meant to be. I'm your host, Jason Smith. And if you haven't already, make sure you share this podcast with your friends on social media and tag me in it on Instagram at jbirdfit. Welcome to season 3 of the Blueprint Podcast. Today, we're going to discuss men who have an anxious attachment style and what they can do about it. Someone wrote in, I recently learned that I have an anxious attachment style, and I'm pretty sure everyone I've ever dated has been an avoidant. I started dating someone 3 months ago, and in the beginning, we were texting every day. Suddenly, without warning, they pulled away, ultimately giving me an ambiguous explanation that I know now is a deactivating strategy that was perfectly executed by them. They wouldn't tell me what was going on, just enough that I was concerned for their well-being. But if we're being honest, oftentimes when you ask somebody who has an avoidant attachment style what they're feeling, they're not going to be able to articulate that to you. But what they do know is in this moment that they're feeling emotionally activated. It's something that they're feeling inside of their body. It's this anxious feeling that's building up inside of them that's telling them, I have to run, I have to pull away. And the problem with the answer that they give you is that it's just enough to keep you guessing. And then, of course, you start chasing because you can fix this. So then you go into seek and destroy mode, trying to figure out what's going on and how to fix it. And then their behavior knocks you out of your frame. So at this point, you're feeling insecure, not only about the relationship, but about yourself. You start questioning everything that's going on with you. And you'll be thinking, what did I do wrong? And then those feelings continue to build up inside of you, and this fear of abandonment starts to take over, which triggers your instinct to gain clarity. So you message them often with little to no response and often 12 hours apart. It almost feels like you're being punished for something. And if you could just be good enough, they would come back and meet your needs for love and connection. Problem is, the more that you seek clarity, the greater the distance becomes between you and the higher their walls and barriers seem to get. So, what's the answer? Fair warning. Relationships are complicated and deeply nuanced. There's always going to be more than one answer that's going to be rooted in your unique circumstances. That being said, you're not going to like it. The answer is to give them the space that they're asking for. You have to be willing to pull yourself back into your own frame, that place of stability. You stop giving their poor relationship behavior any attention, and you go back to making yourself a priority, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And remember, it's only been 3 months, so you don't really know this person, but you can send a simple text, and it's going to sound like this. Sounds like what you're going through is really tough. I respect your need for space and distance right now while you're working through this. I want you to know that I enjoy our time together and I look forward to spending more time with you when you're ready. Just know that you're not alone and I'm here to support you as I am able. And what this text message shows is that you're understanding of their emotional capacity in this moment. You're acknowledging and recognizing that they have their own inner world and experience. And right now, they're feeling emotionally activated. And of course, this is where everyone says the anxious attacher always has to do all the heavy lifting. And the answer to that is no, you don't. Who told you that you had to? Again, it goes back to, are you willing to make yourself a priority physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually? So when something doesn't align with your goals, values, and standards, you recognize that, you set a boundary with yourself, and then you honor that boundary. And it's definitely much easier said than done. The other thing that you're doing here is you're affirming your care and support for them. You're also setting a boundary that I have sympathy for your circumstances, but I'm not going down with you. However, I'm here to help lift you back up when you're ready. And after a few days have gone by, you might send them another text that says, hey, I'm going to grab coffee, or I'm going to the bookstore. I would love for you to join me. Now, when you do this, you may or may not get the answer that you expected. They might say yes, and that's amazing. Now you can go get coffee or go to the bookstore or both at the same time and enjoy each other's company, but keep it fun and relaxed and not stressful. That's not the time to get back into whatever the relationship problems, issues, or concerns were. This is simply to spend time with each other and to be in each other's presence. Or you might get no response, which is a response and should tell you everything that you need to know in this moment. The question is always, what are your goals, values, and standards for a relationship with you? And what are your intentions for a relationship? And then we ask ourselves, is this in alignment with all of those things? And if it's not, then you have a decision to make. You can recognize that right now, this is where they are, and that may never change, regardless of how much hope you have for their potential. They may never achieve what you're hoping for. And this is why you always hear me say it's not your job to fix or change other people. Your job is to love them as they are. And if you can't do that, then they're probably not for you, and you should probably leave them alone. If you're a man with an insecure attachment style, the Antares Society 3 months of group coaching application is open now. It's time for you to learn to stand in your own frame and have the types of relationships that you truly desire. Hey, real quick, before you guys go, I have a couple things for you. If you don't mind rating and reviewing the show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, that is what helps us continue to grow and expand and reach new audiences. Also, if you haven't already, the Self-Love Handbook, The Pathway Back to You, is available. It's an 87-page digital PDF workbook on cultivating and building self-love. It's also the perfect companion to the 21-day self-love challenge. And if you haven't gone through it yet, it has over 30 hours of content available to you and interviews with therapists, authors, coaches, veterans, CEOs, and so many more who share their story of overcoming challenges and circumstances in their own lives. And with that, I hope everyone has an amazing day, and I will see you next time.